JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the 14th most sold manga in the world. It got so popular at one point you could see its references in memes, games, and even rap culture. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was created on New Year's Day 1987 by Hirohiko Araki, and in 1993 we saw the first JoJo's game, JoJo no Kimi no Naboke. Fast forward 31 years, the youth has been captivated by Araki's writing and eccentric art style, creating games on the popular website Roblox. As someone who's been a part of the Roblox anime community since its beginning, playing early Dragon Ball, Bleach, and Naruto games, I've seen JoJo games since its inception. Today I will show you the entire history of Roblox JoJo games in chronological order based on when they were created. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the history of Roblox JoJo games. The first known JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game on Roblox is a game called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Battlegrounds, created by the account JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on January 22nd, 2015. This game consists of playable characters from part 1 and 2, a map, abilities like punching and kicking, as well as random Hamon attacks, and we wouldn't see another JoJo game for a few months. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom was the first JoJo game to really explode in popularity, having a total of 633,000 visits at the time of this recording. JoJo's Phantom was created on July 9th, 2015 by the developer, Wash Garage, who seems to be the owner of the previous game. With this game we saw a level of pretty much everything. The map was massive with different spawn regions, there was a height, muscle, age, and money system, randomized player models, and destruction physics. This is actually the first game with an actually good Hamon system, Hamon attacks, and vampire. JoJo's Phantom created a massive community on Roblox for JoJo fans, and is remembered as one of the funnest JoJo games of all time. Up until this point, we've only seen games with material from part 1 and 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, until Juju's Gross Adventure and Duwang-Cho was created on July 13, 2016 by the massively popular developer Snake World, who would later go on to make some of the most influential anime games in other genres, like Final Stand, NO2, and ABA. Juju's Gross Adventure will feature a large map and most importantly, stands. This game has almost all the part 3 stands with cool attacks, decent VFX, and the first case for remote control stands. The map was in Duwang-Cho, a massive city with hills, lakes, and rivers, and although this game was kinda small, many of the upcoming developers will interact with it during its lifespan. Around this time, we saw the rise of JoJo within the anime community as well as interest in this manga. At the time, this was a high, but literally we know this wasn't even close to its peak. On April 20th, 2017, we got JoJo's Bizarre World, created by the developer Katsun. JoJo's Bizarre World is a JoJo game with stands from part 3 to 5, and this game would also be the first JoJo game to reach 1 million visits, and currently has 2.5 million visits. It would later get a remake called JoJo's Bizarre World 2, but it was pretty poorly received as the standards had increased. On June 28, 2017, Not So Bizarre Adventure was created by the developer Papa Pango. This game actually tried to innovate by having the players become the stands. This game had decent combat with a variety of stands that was pretty big during its peak. Players being stands is just a good idea, but unfortunately, no other game would do this in the future. On July 18, 2017, Jojo's Niblet, who makes these names, was created by the developer Hyperlink. Niblet was a classic Battlegrounds game with characters from part 1 through 6. There's nothing really special about this game, but it is a classic, so I might as well include it. On September 29, 2017, JoJo's Bloxxy Adventure was created by the developer Kamstra. JoJo's Bloxxy was the first R15 JoJo game with some questionable looking stands, but it is the first JoJo game since JoJo's Phantom to have actual progression. Surely there won't be more Battlegrounds games coming up. On October 28, 2017, the Roblox JoJo community would get one of the most influential Roblox JoJo games of all time, Project JoJo. Project JoJo was a very unique game, being the first game to have stand fusions, and a pretty accurate power scaling with some stands being completely overpowered, but the unbalance was a part of the experience. Project JoJo was created by the developer Middle Hero, and was later passed on to the developer MSG Archivaz. Project JoJo is also very known for having a very active economy, with trading being a core reason to why people play the game. And at the time, YouTubers started making videos on Project JoJo, which put a spotlight on the rising JoJo community. Today, Project JoJo has 138 million visits, and Project JoJo is easily one of the greatest JoJo games of all time, and many games will try to replicate its format for years to come. On December 1st, 2017, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 Battle was created by the developer Snake World. This game was centered around Part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, having progression for Hamon, different Hamon attacks, weapons, and vampires. This game would get pretty big considering it didn't have any stands in it, but unfortunately got cancelled by Snake World because he had other projects he wanted to focus on. And as of 2024, there's been a fan-made recreation called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 Remastered, which currently gets updates. On June 27, 2018, JoJo's Bizarre was created by the developer Trap Knights. JoJo is a basic stand-era Rokuka game, similar to Project JoJo but lacking in almost every front. It got mastered for a very small amount of time before quickly dying out. Very unfortunately, this will soon become a common theme with JoJo games. On August 27, 2018, Stands Online was created by the developer Bloxxy. Stands Online was another unique JoJo game with many unique stands. Like there's genuinely thousands of stands with many unique attributes and stats, which created some of the most drippiest combinations. It also had a very unique stat system which was very fun to mess around with, especially when using Requiem arrows. Bloxxy will later go on to make the hit game Voxel Blade. On September 3rd, 2018, Troublesome Battlegrounds was created by the development studio P1 Studios. Troublesome Battlegrounds was a JoJo Battlegrounds game with many stands, some you unlock by killing other players. It would gain a lot of players, and it was a fun party game to play with friends. On December 28, 2018, A Bizarre Day was created by the developer, The Guest to Blame, before later being passed on to the developer, Tornado. ABD was a standard replica game, just like Project JoJo, but has some decent VFX and modeling for its time. It also had bosses, and you could use items to make your stand stronger. ABD was the first JoJo game to pass 100 million visits, and along with Project JoJo sparked a massive explosion in interest with Roblox JoJo games. ABD would later close when many copies and recreations would come out and become pretty popular, such as Old ABD, which still gets players to this day. On February 1st, 2019, JoJo Bizarre Adventure was created by the developer, Uzu. YBA is another standard replica game with the best VFX modeling UI over any Roblox JoJo game. It has pretty good combat with an in-depth skill tree and stand progression. All that being said though, the game isn't perfect and it has many balancing issues, and sometimes updates take months for minutes worth of content, and it will also popularize the gacha elements in JoJo games. YBA will be the first Roblox JoJo game to reach 1 billion visits and will probably reach 2 billion visits by the end of the year. There will likely never be a Roblox JoJo game as big as YBA due to how good the timing of the release was, and how much is spread on YouTube thanks to YouTubers like Eclipse, and also because this is the start of the decline of Roblox JoJo games. On July 1st, 2019, Bizarre Blox, formerly known as JoJo Blox, was created by the developer, GFS. Bizarre Blox was a bandit beater JoJo game that had thousands of players and an insanely large community. It was formatted similar to simulators, which made it an entry point for Roblox players who have never seen JoJo before. But with such a large audience and its rapid success, it would all come crashing down due to an incomplete revamp, a data reset, and an alleged scam. JoJo Blox might be the craziest follow-up of any JoJo game in history. On July 2nd, 2019, Stand Proud was created by the developer, Narcy. Stand Proud is a modern-day Battlegrounds game where you fight players and get money to buy chests that give you cosmetics and emotes. This game looks pretty good, but there's not much content outside of just fighting. On March 16, 2020, A Bizarre World was created by the developer, Sab. ABW is another standard replica game where you get stands and fight other people. But around this time, copy games started to hit the anime community like a truck, and many ABW copies will spring about after its death, such as ABW Rewritten and ABW Archived, which still get players to this day. On May 18, 2020, JoJo's Alternative Universe was created by the developer, Medap. JoJo's Alternative Universe was a game that tried to break out of the copy and paste standard replica game format by making a stand creator system. You can make custom stands with their stand creator system, then go out and fight people. It's still a Battlegrounds game, but unlike other Battlegrounds games, it had something unique to it. On June 3rd, 2020, we got one of the most hyped JoJo games of all time, A Universal Time, created by the developer, Kerr. AU2 was one of the most hyped up JoJo games of all time, reaching 100,000 concurrent players in this release. This same hype is why it lost 90% of its player base. When AU2 was coming out, they had crazy sneak peeks and trailers, and it was during the time YBA was falling off, so people wanted a game to replace it. So that's how the overhype of AU2 started. This game is one of the best mediocre games out there. It had the best visuals and animations, but before people could even experience that, the game had so many players that Roblox itself experienced data issues, causing people's stuff to get deleted, quests not working, and on top of that, the game's balancing was pretty terrible. Then it would fall to the modern day JoJo illness of adding things from other animes, on top of mass amounts of gambling. This game still gets updates and is one of the biggest modern JoJo games. On June 25th, 2020, A Bizarre Journey was created by the developer, Accursed Dev. ABJ was another standard replica game with some extra items such as Requiem arrows and vampire masks. However, it would slowly die out over the years because there wasn't much content outside of PvPing and trading. On June 30th, 2020, Troublesome Battlegrounds 2 was created by the developer, ClownRez. Troublesome Battlegrounds 2 was an upgraded version of Troublesome Battlegrounds with more character, more moves, better UI, and decent PvP. On August 1st, 2020, we got possibly one of the worst combat games I've ever seen in my life, Bizarre Legacy, created by the developer, Quas. This is another standard replica game with the worst ragdoll I've ever seen in my life. This game is genuinely just a stun simulator with zero concept besides PvP. On October 3rd, 2020, Stands Awakening was created by the developer, Boss Studios. Stands Awakening was another standard replica game, but with items on the map, so you could create different versions of stands. This game has some heavy bandit beating, but still gets weekly updates. On October 19, 2020, N was created by the developer, Sickle is Sorrow. N was a Battlegrounds game with many different types of stands, and was one of those fun party games you could play with your friends. It looked and played different from most modern day Battlegrounds, more resembling older ones. On October 23rd, 2020, In Another Time was created by the developer, Chum. In Another Time was another standard replica game, and nothing really separates it from other modern day JoJo games. On January 21st, 2021, we got JoJo Tycoon created by the developer, Baymaster 202. This This game unironically gets more players than other JoJo games, not because it's an actually well-made game, but because it's just more fun. The bar for JoJo games have gotten so low that Tycoons have better gameplay loops than other games. On January 25th, 2021, Roblox Is Unbreakable was created by the developer JoJo. Roblox Is Unbreakable is a YBA-like game, except you start off in Part 1, Phantom Blood, and progress to Part 7. This game has a skill tree, Hamon, Vampire, and the basic premise is to do quests, kill NPCs, level up, and fight other players. This is definitely more than most modern-day JoJo games, and arguably has the best storyline in PvE of any modern-day JoJo game. On March 20th, 2021, my Sandbox Game was created by the development studio La Luna Media. This game is a trash Battlegrounds game. On March 22nd, 2021, Project Star was created by the developer A4D Cube. Project Star is a game of quests and dungeon with a pretty good skill tree for both players and stands, and all things considered was a good game minus some bugs and the abysmal drop rates for stands, but unfortunately developers abandoned the game. On April 25th, 2021, World of Stands was created by the developer Ray. World of Stands as a concept is pretty cool. It progressively adds things from each part of JoJo, and is currently at part 3. Since the game's been out for many years now, we have time after each part to fix bugs and refine the gameplay mechanics, which is why it's one of the biggest modern day JoJo games. On June 4th, 2021, JoJo Golden Records was created by the developer Freebie. This is a JoJo RPG game with terrible skill trees and a ton of input delay, which makes this a poorly optimized game. On January 14, 2022, Stand Upright Rebooted was created by the developer Zai. Stand Upright Rebooted is a copy of the game called Stand Upright. In Stand Upright, you kill dummies to get XP and skill points and use your stand to fight other people. In Stand Upright Rebooted, there's nothing new. On January 14, 2022, Sakura Stands was created by the developer Audi. Sakura Stands might be the hydrogen bomb of modern day JoJo illness. I asked multiple diehard JoJo fans if Sakura Stands is even a JoJo game anymore, and all of them said no. Why are people popping Stark Res like a type soul in a JoJo game? Not to mention the amount of gambling this game has. Sakura Stands is somehow one of the biggest JoJo games and still gets players to this day. On February 12, 2022, JoJo Eyes of Chains RP was created by the developer Mythic. In this game, you roleplay as characters from JoJo. Wait a minute. On March 25th, A Bizarre Universe was created by the developer Jandel. A Bizarre Universe is a bandit beater where you level up and upgrade your skill trees. Stands in this game are random and non-canon, as well as tags being randomized cards. On May 20th, 2022, That Crazy Adventure was created by the developer Catter Devs. That Crazy Adventure is a pretty decent RPG fighting game with pretty decent PvP. On February 11, 2023, JoJo Bizarre Adventure Diamond was created by the developer Maki and Maki. JJBI Diamond is a permadeath JoJo game very similar to JoJo Bizarre Adventure Phantom, with very interesting progression. Death actually mattering in this game makes you more invested in your character and the actions you take, making this a very underrated JoJo game in my opinion. On March 23rd, 2023, JoJo Stands was created by the developer Kang. It's a Battlegrounds game with free models and terrible combat, but for some reason gets more players than most modern day JoJo games. On April 30th, 2023, Phantom Bloodline was created by the developer Eerie. Phantom Bloodline was a JoJo Battlegrounds game, and I say it was because after Eclipse played the game, it was over. It got so bad that their server got nuked. This game is just every modern day Battlegrounds, but you slap JoJo on it. Maybe even worse than most modern day Battlegrounds. Even the owner himself acknowledged that Eclipse was right. On November 3rd, 2023, The Lost Adventure was made by the developer Gojo Chi Dev. This game is a modern day Battlegrounds game, but it has pretty decent combat. And out of all the JoJo Battlegrounds, this is probably the best one. I personally can't play a Battlegrounds game for more than 10 minutes, but this is alright. If they took the stands out of this game and put it into an actual game with progression, it would be a hit. On June 5th, 2024, Project Menacing was created by the developer Time Rifted. Technically this game came out a year or two ago, and this is the remake, but I'm just gonna act like the other game was a mistake. But in the remake, everything is the exact same. This game looks like Project JoJo and plays like ABD. This game is just bandit beating to buy a stand to fight people, but the combat is mediocre. Well, that would be the end of this video, but I hear something.
Project JoJo 2 is coming out. You are now saved.
Project JoJo? Well, that's the end of the history of Roblox JoJo games. This took a while to make. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, join my Discord, have some special stuff planned, and stay tuned. The music in this video is made by DM Dokuro and Persona. Have a nice day.